All right, hey folks, it's Thursday night. We're gonna do some game design today. So we're working on the Bastion campaigns to add depth and decision making to the Bastion system that was presented in the 5e24 D&D Dungeon Master's Guide. So give me a second here. I want to check my signal to make sure that I'm coming through clearly here on the microphone. I'm going to do some real quick social media posting. And then we'll get to work. Real quick social media posting. Holy Hannah, that's coming through loud and clear. Let's check my volume over here. Yeah, that's really good. Excellent. Okay, great. So clickety, clickety, click. I'm going to grab the link here, do some fast social media posts to not slow us down any more than we need to. But let me distract you with my origin story here real fast while I press some buttons. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And I've been creating content for Dungeons & Dragons using the 5e game engine since 2018. I've been a DM since 1987. I've played every edition of D&D, ran a ton of first, second edition, third edition. Spent a decade in third edition. Picked up 5e about a year after it got launched. And once the DMsGuild opened up, I started seeing opportunities for me to create third-party supplement content. Most famously, the Color Mana spell point variant rules, converting D&D Advancing Magic and Schools of Magic into the 5-color mana Magic system that's in Magic the Gathering, which is also owned by Wizards of the Coast that owns D&D. And then from there, I built out Spelljammer mechanics, various game systems for class options and stuff in like Ravnica and stuff like that. There's a stack of... I'm waiting for my stuff to clarify here. Yeah, there we go. Everything looks good. So click. Oop, 2 more to go, and then I'm done. So the Bastion system feels very much like BECMI to me, in that it offers characters the opportunity to start having like a geopolitical position, a domain style of gameplay, but there's no risks or decision making that really goes into a Bastion. Once you put a facility in your Bastion using the DMG rules, your characters basically get a benefit from that facility every week, and that's it. You just give your characters more stuff. So we're rebuilding the Bastion system to have ability checks and skill challenges involved in accomplishing different objectives through your Bastion, either with your character's participation or relegating it to hirelings that operate the facility so that they can act as a support in a broader campaign scope to support what your characters are doing without just necessarily giving your characters more stuff. They can get more stuff, but they have to earn it, and we have a system in place that allows them to earn it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and rearrange my screens here. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe. We have any new subscribers today. Thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. And here's a stack of books that I've been talking about that are all free previews. Just check them out. You can read them cover to cover. If you're a 5e enthusiast, you want to support me, picking up some of these, if you like them, is a great way to support me. Otherwise, Patreon. Bless you if you want to support. Now, the Bastion campaign that we're running today, we're going to use the playtest document here. It's a read-only document for you. It's still a rough first draft, and we're still ironing out the wrinkles from how the game, how the subsystems inside of this, the ability checks work, to help simplify the process so it's fast and easy to use, but still uses the 5e game engine to stay inside this Dominion-style leadership, army control sort of space and still feel like you're playing 5e. So that's the main goal. Is so many people try to make domain systems or like mass combat systems for 5e, but doesn't feel like 5e, doesn't use the rules of 5e. So we want to make sure that we're staying based in self-referential inside of what's in the DMG, whether it's the 2014 or the 2024, to stay in alignment with how the 5e game engine works. So, Bastion system, we've talked about this a number of times. I'm going to separate out one screen here and drop it down so it's out of the way. We're going to grab this as a separate window that we can operate inside of. And then over here, we've got our list of facilities that we're working on right now. Let's see. We're currently working on the scriptorum. So let's go down here. Just to crash course you guys real quick. Hopefully it'll be real quick. Just crash course you. A character can have a bastion as early as level 1, starting with 1 point. Every 10 points that are accumulated, it increases the rank of your bastion by 1. 5th rank is your maximum rank. It corresponds with proficiency bonuses that characters gain at level 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. The game is all about making ability checks to achieve to carry out the orders that you issue to your bastion. So you say build me a set of armor. They're going to make an ability check as a bastion, like a bastion check, and if it succeeds at the difficulty of making a set of armor, they'll create it. If they fail the die roll, then it creates a complication that either requires more time and additional rolls for the bastion to try to resolve it, so it can maybe result in delays or damage to your facility or loss of hirelings. All sorts of complications that can arise that prevents that set of armor from having been completed, which we provide tables for down below to randomize what your complications are, to be able to progressively generate a campaign from these results that your hirelings get when you make your bastion checks, skill challenges, to see where you run into complications that then can become adventure hooks for your characters to go in and resolve the problem and advance the storyline of whatever your adventures are. But in the meantime, you're having this whole side plot of what your bastion is trying to do, and the complications that arise sculpt the events that surround your bastion that could kick off their own adventure nuggets. Yeah, so that's the idea of how it works. So we're building out the mechanics of how all that stuff works, and it's all in the book. That's not maybe very well organized or even very efficient right now. So we're building efficiencies in the system. You can gain bastion points. You could gain a certain number of bastion points every time your character gains a level if you want. You can see here it hits the marks at 1st and 5th and 9th and 13th. You're automatically getting, and 17th you're automatically getting the amount of bastion points you need to advance the rank of your bastion. But if you don't want it to automatically proceed, because like it automatically proceeds in the DMG, so we provide an automatic advancement system here. But you could also make each bastion point worth gold, and so you have to gain treasure or go on quests that grant you loot. And the amount of the cost of a point is based on the rank of the bastion. Higher rank bastions can pull off higher ability check results. So the bastion points that go into issuing orders to your bastion are worth more as they gain levels. So they're on 100 points apiece at first level, or at first rank. At second rank, each point is worth 1,000. At third rank, each point is worth 10,000, 100,000, and then it's worth 1,000,000 gold each. And you could try to sell off bastion points, but you typically are only going to get a small percentage of what the actual gold piece value of a bastion point is. The main, and the DM may decide that you can't sell them. So that's an option. But the main point is that when I get the when I'm in the third rank of like 13th, it's like 12th level as a character, I need tens of thousands of gold for me to have any kind of an impact on the campaign world. And that just feels unrealistic that you're working in this massive gold piece value when like you can buy a knight at the end for like 3 silver pieces. What the fuck am I going to spend 30,000 gold on? This gives you a reason to have large amounts of gold that you can produce through like geopolitics and having large trade relations at the political level of your campaign. And when you're transitioning from 1st to 5th level to 9th level, you are accumulating gold because you need armor and you need equipment that's better and the low-end potions and stuff like that you can actually realistically purchase in your campaign. Having a gold economy at the low level, 1st and 2nd tier of gameplay makes sense. But once you start pushing that double digits, the money doesn't make sense anymore. So that's why you allow the game to convert over into bastion points instead of gold pieces. So it's not like you're going to go into a treasure trove and find 50,000 gold pieces laying around. No, you're running gigs and missions from whoever your handler has developed into By the time you get to the 10th level, your characters are involved enough in the campaign world that you've got connections and handlers that give you quests. And instead of giving you 30,000 pieces of gold, it's no, we're going to give you control of these resources in this town, and that's expressed as you're in third rank, you're like your 11th level. Great, we're going to give you 3 Bastion points to further develop your facilities or create new facilities, establish a new settlement or a new point of control in the campaign world where it's relevant to you. We're going to give you those resources to establish that as a result of going on this quest to bloody, bloody, blah. And so those 3 Bastion points at 10th level is worth 30,000 gold. So instead of giving you 30,000 gold, I give you 3 Bastion points. You could sell off a Bastion point and get a percentage of that gold back, and be able to like purchase armor or maybe a low-end magic item, or you can use those Bastion points to build new geopolitical resources to establish new lines of connection, new handlers, advance up to higher tiers, get access to multiplanar stuff, get access to producing or managing fleets of Spelljammer ships. Those are the paths that we can take in the Dominion system. So the facilities that you purchase with the points that you accumulate, that's like your experience points in your Bastion. But you use those points and they recycle every 7 days as a Bastion turn, and so it's kind of like it's kind of like spell points. You spend them to do stuff, and at the end of when you finish the week, you get them all back to then reinvest. If you have facilities in your Bastion, like a laboratory or a workshop or like dry docks for making Spelljammer ships, or like an arcane gate or whatever, they cost X amount of Bastion points to install those facilities and to maintain them. So if I put like 3 points into a 3rd rank workshop, so now I can build like stone golems, that's going to I have to have at least 20 Bastion points invested into my Bastion as a whole, and 3 of those points could go to that workshop. So now I've got 18 points that are free in my Bastion economy for me to invest into other facilities like an armory and a barracks, maybe a sanctuary, a trophy room, a war room. These are that's 5 additional Bastions I just listed, facilities I listed off right there, and that's just a portion. There's 34 Bastions that are listed in the system, and we provide you with the rules of creating your own facilities if one of the facilities that we have built here doesn't scratch the itch that your team is trying to hit. Like maybe you want like a scry spy facility where it's housed with divine wizards that are working magic, that are working crystal balls to spy on enemies throughout the city. Like if you're playing Ravnica, that's literally something that the Azorius Senate has inside of their jurisdictions. These diviners that scan for crimes happening in the city to then send out soldiers to go arrest the people that do that. Like that would be a really cool facility, but it's not quite covered in here. But like we have an observatory that comes in at 3rd level that allows you to scry. So you could reframe it so that like observatory, if you built like a scry, like a scry ops chamber. You built a scry ops chamber, and you have the ability like to you'd have a spy network. So like you can every week when you invest points into networking, you can answer 5 questions about things that are going on inside your bureau or inside your district. And on top of that, you can like cast the scry spell inside of that facility, and you get a free use of it every day. And then on top of that, and then maybe a 3rd benefit that you would get is like you get a garrison of soldiers that can be deployed whenever you detect a crime. And now you have an Azorius Scryops house, and you have to be at least 3rd rank in Bastion to have it. And when you do, you can have up to 3rd rank of a facility, putting 3 points into it. And then you have the barracks, and then you have your armory, and then you have your sanctuary and your reliquary to help support the crystal ball and the arcane study to support all the diviners that are using the crystal balls. And you have your barracks set up, and so you have facilities where they can utilize this space, and that is your Azorius Senate Bastion, for example. So you can eat up the points with all these different facilities that allow you to do different things and issue different types of orders. So right now we're all the way down to Scriptorum. If you want to see us playing around with the facilities, the previous 2 Bastion campaign episodes started at the beginning of the facilities, walked through how all this works, and started processing and revising all the facilities to use the solutions that we found over the past few months. So having said all that, we're diving back into the facilities and all the benefits that you get from each facility we detail further down below. So right now we're just listing out what the facilities are and what benefits they provide, and then we go in and dive into details about what those benefits do specifically for your characters, Bastion, or your hirelings during the course of a campaign. So that might not be the right way to logically structure the information for people to get it inside of a supplement, but that's how it's currently ordered. So we're going to continue just processing stuff in the order that's presented in the book. And what normally happens during this process is it becomes obvious that like A needs to be before B and X needs to be before Y, and we line things up so that it all makes sense to logically move through the document. So starting at the beginning of the book, you don't know anything about what we're talking about, and by the end of the book, you've got all the tools you need and examples to demonstrate how to use this in your own campaigns. And now that you've absorbed it, if you read the whole book, you're probably kind of interested in trying it. Then you'll have everything that you need to actually do it. So that's how we build here. And then we hire an editor to clean it up. And when we get it back, we do the page layouts. And once all the information is laid out and pretty, all the gaps in the page that could be used for an illustration in that space, then we whip open Photoshop and we build the illustration. And once all the illustrations are done with the layouts in the book, we seal it up into a PDF and we publish it on the DMsGuild, which again, I've got plenty of examples of books that have gone through that process already, most of which have silver, gold, or Electrum status. I think some of my books are about to push into platinum. So people read them and they buy them. Apparently they're good, so I keep making more of them. So having said all that, let's get to work. And I'm going to set a timer here. I'm going to give myself an hour tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow at lunchtime to continue. So if we don't get done tonight, we'll have another opportunity to finish up tomorrow at lunch. So if you think this stuff is cool and you want to tag along and see everything that we do, hit the like and subscribe button. I do artwork for my books in the mornings, Monday through Friday. We're doing an Eberron adventure right now. And then game design we do on Mondays and Thursday nights like this, and Tuesday and Friday lunches like tomorrow. So stick around, join my Discord, ask me anything. If you want to implement these ideas into your campaign to test run them to see if it's right for you, join my Discord server and I'll help you walk through it if you need any help. So yeah, I'm happy to have playtesters with this. I've been using one form or another of this for over a year at my own home table, and this is where we've gotten to with what, since 5e24 came out, this is what we've adapted it into from where it was originally. You can check out the early episodes of this design stream to see where the game was at before they announced Bastions even existed, and how we've been able to adapt all the command mechanics that we had already used and reinventing them to completely jive and interlock with how with what are presented as Bastions in the DMG 24. So Scriptorum, what is going on? What rank is a Scriptorum? Scriptorum is first rank. Each rank of facility costs 1 Bastion point. Like you have to reserve 1 point of Bastion point from your supply of Bastion points to install and then upgrade the facility from 1 being installed at 1 and upgraded up to 5th rank. The rank of your facility cannot exceed the rank of your Bastion. So if you've got a 5th rank Bastion, you can have tons of facilities anywhere from 1st to 5th rank, depending on how much you want to invest into it at the time. You don't have to max it out. Obviously, if you do, you're going to roll better dice with it. So the higher the dice, the better. The higher the rank, the better for you to be able to accomplish goals. And the higher rank you are, the more stuff you can do, the more fantastic stuff. You can make legendary magic items once you get a facility up to 5th rank that can produce magic items. Prior to that, like if you only have a 2nd rank facility that can create like magic potions, for instance. Then you're going to be pretty much limited to the uncommon rarity. But if you're 4th rank, it could be very rarity. So it scales up, and so does the value of material, like of non-magical stuff. Like you can build a Spelljammer ship that's worth 30,000 gold with a 4th rank facility. But if you want to get into like the 120 or 200,000 gold ships, you have to have a 5th rank facility. Like if you want to build a 500,000 gold castle, you're going to need to find a mason at the 5th rank who's capable of managing and doing the logistics behind building an entire castle, which is a nightmare to build. It takes many, many years. But by having a 5th rank facility that specializes in stonemasonry and has the resources to be able to gather those through our storehouse and settlement systems inside here, you can get the resources that you need to be able to build that castle, like maybe in 3 years if you do it really efficiently. So it allows you to expand into and start building these domains to have these regions of power for you to control the environment around you and interact with other kingdoms and settlements at the Bastion level using the army combat system that we've built inside of this, using the same ability checks to determine how well your army is sieging or engaging in combat with other Bastion forces of armies or defenders. And it all works the same using the 5e skill, basically skill challenge system of making ability checks using proficiency dice from the 2014 variant rules. So, basic facility benefits. When issuing a basic and power order, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. Oh, that's the sanctum. So yeah, when you like, if you have a sanctum, again, normally you would roll like a d20 plus the rank of your Bastion plus the proficiency die for the rank. First rank, it's a d4, d6, d8, d10, and at 5th rank, it's a d12. So using the proficiency dice from 2014, the variant rule, they dropped that variant rule from 2024, but they said everything in 2014 is still valid for 2024. So grabbing those proficiency dice mechanics, the proficiency die doesn't represent a single character accomplishing a goal with a fixed proficiency bonus. Instead, it's representing a team of hirelings attempting that ability check on behalf of the character. And depending on how high or low the Bastion die is, represents how well your team is working together to accomplish the goal. While the d20 plus the Bastion rank is kind of the foundation. So if I rolled like a 15, a second rank Bastion is rolling an ability check to complete a task, to carry out an order that was issued. That's the right language. To carry out an order that was issued, you roll a d20 plus the rank of your Bastion, plus in second rank, it's a d6. So like if I roll a 15 on my d20 and like a 2 on my d6, the total is going to be a DC 19. So like if I was trying to make a rare magic item that has a DC 20, I failed. So that means that if I can figure out how to do it, I could make a magic item, but I ran into a complication. So we go to the complications tables and start randomly generating what are the problems that are arising when you're trying to make this rare magic item. And that becomes a potential adventure that your characters can go on. Or you could just leave it to, like if you're off on a quest someplace and it's like, yeah, we need that magic item. You're having a problem? Figure it out. Now you've just basically issued an additional order to your Bastion to fix the problem that they created. And that could just continue to cascade into more and more problems if they continue to fail the die roll. You come back and like your house is on fire. Like, what the fuck have you guys been doing? And like, here's all the shit that happened, boss. We need your help. And now it's like, we just got home. We don't even have time to rest. We have all these adventure hooks that have stacked up that are now afflicting the Bastion because you wanted to make a magic item without your characters being there. So like if they hit the die roll, then yeah, they can build the item. It's there for you when you come back. That's just the Bastion system from the DMG. But all these complications create this intricate web of interdependence. Like maybe we don't have the supplies that we need. So now we need to find a settlement that can provide us the supplies that we need to actually create this item. Turns out the magic formula we had to make that magic item was bogus. We either got sold a bad plan, or something changed. This plan is no good. So now you have to figure out what happened there. And then do we have this, like, is it just a skill issue? You know, is our team just not equipped to be able to build this item. They thought they were, but now that they're getting into it and they're realizing, no, we can't actually do this. Now you need to find some way or have your characters get involved to be able to complete the item. So like these are like different random complications that arise that could lead you to like, we want to make like these pearls of power. Well, it turns out these clams aren't any good. Their pearls aren't, they're flawed. So now you have to go on a quest underwater to find these, like this pearl worshipping Sahuagin clan. If you can defeat the Sahuagin, then you can take the pearls and you'll now have the item that you need to make your pearls of power. And in the process, it turns out your plans are no good. So like the formula that you had to make the pearls of power, they actually just blew up your lab. So now you have to repair your lab and find a formula that actually works. Maybe if you have an artificer on your team, they can reset what they have plans for and make that easy. But if you don't, maybe you go find an artificer that can dream up those plans for you to build with. But they have a favor they need you to do first. And now that's your classic adventure hook that gives you the reward of the plans that you need. And the other adventure was to get the pearls. So now you have the pearls and you have the plans. And that gives your Bastion the time to repair the workshop. So when you come back with all this stuff, we're here, we may as well just build the thing. Now your characters make the ability check and they add the Bastion die to their ability check because they have all these hirelings helping you make the pearls of power now and learning from the master while they do it. And then you complete, and then you hit your DC 20 die roll, and now we have our pearls of power. But that may have been like 6 weeks worth of adventuring at the table that translated into like 2 extra, like a Bastion turn to get the pearls, which is a week, a Bastion turn to get the plans helping the artificer, which was another week, and then you spent another week at the Bastion actually building the pearls of power in the first place. That's now a 3-week process in game, and all the other unresolved problems that are out there in plot hooks have an opportunity to advance their timeline 3 weeks in their own bastions with their own armies in their own settlements, achieving their own goals. And the DM can go as deep down the rabbit hole with that stuff as they want. If you love geeking out on building, like in world building, this gives you a framework to build guilds, settlements, cities, churches, transdimensional trade leagues, anything that you want to do. You can frame them from a geopolitical stance using this system. So if your DM wants to get deep in the weeds of like what's going on with with the Dragon Mark houses in Eberron, there's 13 of them. Go hog wild. They're all the house is a 5th rank bastion that oversees all these other operations by investing bastion points into other facilities. And say, hey, what's going on with like your local Orion delivery message? It's like, well, it's a 2nd rank bastion, so we can move fast, we can get you a message where it needs to go, and we have a sending stone that we can use once a day. It's like, great, I need to get this message out. If you fail the roll, sorry chum, somebody already came and used the sending stone. It's disabled until tomorrow. Unless you want to help us afford to get a new one, tell you what, here's something you could do to help us out. And now you've got a quest hook on your hands to get help, just to use a sending stone to send word that blah, blah, blah. But you can dive down these rabbit holes of cascading consequences as a result of what the players want to do, making die rolls that either succeed and fail that sculpt the path of what their next steps are going to be. So that's the gist of it. So anyway, back on point. Let's see, Scriptorum, unique facility benefits. Your Bastion has a number of spell glyphs inscribed within its border. Oh, this is cool. The number of glyphs that can be active at once is equal to the rank of this facility. Determined by the rank of the... your Bastion has a number of spell glyphs inscribed within its borders. The number of glyphs that can be active at once is equal to the rank of the Bastion. That does make sense. For the facility for the Bastion as a whole, its rank determines how many glyphs you can have at once. The maximum level spell that can be inscribed this way is determined by the rank of this facility, as listed below. So, facility rank is 1. You can have a glyph with an act, and the glyph is you touch it and it activates the spell. So it's a prepared spell that targets whoever touches the glyph. So you could have like a number of, like if you're in a siege, you can have a number of heal like what a healing word. You can have a healing word set up to target all like the 4 creatures that are closest to the glyph when it gets touched. So during a siege, you're being attacked, your troops need to heal. If you have a number of healing glyphs set up in your bastion, then they can just run by and tap the glyph and they get a heal spell, and now your troops are okay again. You could also use that in a dungeon that your team is attempting to raid. If you're attacking a wizard's tower, that wizard could have a number of glyphs set up that are traps of magical sorts, like you get banished. You get Ivar Black Tentacles unleashed on you. I have a healing. I have a healing glyph in my throne room. So if party crashers come in and try to kill me, I can, if they get to jump on me and damage me, I can tap my glyph and get healed, and then I can have another glyph that's a teleport spell that'll take me to or a plane shift spell that'll take me to my other bastion, or like Word of Recall that'll take me to another bastion where I have a sanctum set up. So the rank of the bastion, the rank of the facility in the bastion, which can't exceed the level, the rank of the bastion itself. The rank of the facility determines the level of spell that we can inscribe into the room. That is a fun thing for a scriptorum. A scriptorum, you think like books and like making some spell scrolls or something, but no, using this as a defense feature inside of your bastion makes a scriptorum a really useful thing to have, because you've got scribes that are in there that are just constantly setting up magical wards inside of your facility, inside of your bastion, to keep it safe or to become a utility as you need. And if you were to use, like say if you were to put this in a Spelljammer ship, then now you've got a means that you could use to teleport, right? I'm going to put a teleportation scribe here, or I'm going to put a word of recall inside of here. It would allow you to be able to jump around or like to make use of stuff. Like I have a mending spell in here, so when my ship gets damaged, I can pop my glyph and it'll automatically, it uses like fabricate to heal 4d10 points of damage that my ship has taken. You can just have a series of those set up around the ship, so whenever you tap them, your ship gets repaired. Like that's a really useful thing to have, but it's going to eat up space inside of your ship. So your ship has limited space. You want to determine how many facilities you want to have, and the higher rank the facility gets, the more space it requires. Your damselfly might not be able to support anything that's more than a second rank facility, so that's going to limit you to second and third level spells. Well, that's okay. At least we get a third level cure wound spell in there, or like an advanced mending spell, or blah 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 blah, whatever. Anyway, so let's see. There's 3 things that each facility can do 3 things, and it's either going to be some sort of a benefit like that, or it's going to be a downtime activity that characters can take that are unique to that facility, or you can issue an order to the hirelings to perform to carry out an order. So the orders that they have to carry out is crafting. You can issue the craft order to create non-magical items on the list of equipment from the player's handbook, which we have duplicated down here. So let's kick down to the end of the document. Here's a list of all the stuff in the player's handbook and what rarity it is, or its effective gold value is its rarity, the materials that you need to be able to create that item, and what type of facility would normally be used to create it. Though the DM could decide, like if I wanted to make, like say I wanted to make, let's say our bastion is a druid's grove, and the druid wants to make something that's effectively like breastplate armor or splint. That's uncommon rarity, which means you need to have a second. Normally, you would need to have a second rank armory or smithy to be able to create the breastplate, and it would need a combination of animal for the like for sinew, or for the leather like the leather straps that hold it together. You need mineral for the metal plates in the armor, and you need plant for like the cotton and padding that you put inside of the armor so your body doesn't chafe. So you actually need all 3 materials normally. But the DM could decide, no, this is a druid sanctuary. We could, and if we're using the rules that say, you want to have non-metal items, but you still want a breastplate, maybe we have an advanced enough greenhouse that we could determine that the druids there with the proper skills could issue an order to create breastplates out of like a razor blade, razor vine, which is an exotic plant that grows in Sigil, the City of Doors in Planescape. It's so hard that it cuts you, and it just grows on a vine. So if the druid had a greenhouse that was growing razor vine, then you could, with wire cutters, clip off the leaves and create splint mail or fuse them together with sap to create a breastplate, and then fuse it all together inside of leather. And now you can have a breastplate that's made out of organic material that isn't metal. It's like that's a way you can modify this. So when this facility says with the scriptorum, it says craft. You can issue the craft order to create non-magical items. That basically says that if the scriptorum is listed as something that could normally make this, you can make it in the scriptorum, like calligrapher's supplies. It totally makes sense that you would be able to make calligrapher supplies in a scriptorum. Like, it would have the things that you need for a calligraphy set, right? That just makes sense. Just gonna grab a quill, some ink, let's go. So that's what it means. Like, when you're crafting it, like if you need a calligrapher set, if you have a scriptorum, you can make those things. And since the calligraphy supply is common, it's only a DC 10. To issue the crafting order, your Bastion rolls a D20, and at, say, first rank is a D20 plus 1 plus D4. If you roll at least a 10, congratulations, you produce calligrapher supplies. Go have fun with them. If you failed, that created a complication. We have no idea what's going on right now. So you have to figure out what went wrong and what do you need to do to fix it. So you can craft orders through the scriptorum and empower. You can issue the empower order to create a magical item, which can be any kind of scroll. You can make any kind of scroll in a scriptorum. And it describes this in the empower order further down below. It's basically the rank of your facility determines what level of spell you can craft, and depending on the rank, the level of the spell, that's also going to affect the duration of time, which is all listed in the orders further down below, which we will eventually be getting to. You can issue the basic craft order to craft non-magical items, see the list below. And you can issue the basic empower order to create magical items. So I'm just going to copy paste this because this is currently the correct language to use. And we'll go back up here and grab empower. Empower. Remove. Now we're going to copy. Let's go down here to scriptorum. Empower to create. You can issue the basic empower order to create a magical item scrolls. Any. There you go. And that takes care of the scriptorum. That's all that it needed. So that's currently up to date. The next level of design detail that we're gonna have to get into is when we actually start talking about the orders. So we've got, how many we got left here? I think we have a slew of them left, but not so many that we can't get it finished this week. So we just finished the scriptorum. Smithy. So we've got what? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 10 to go. So, oh yeah, the settlement. We didn't have settlements listed in here. That is I think we're extracting that as a special case, but let's put that back in here. Settlement. Settlements are a specific type of facility in which normally a facility is inside your bastion, but when your facility is a settlement, your bastion is inside the facility. So we have a separate section about how to develop settlements further down. But for now, this provides us with the basic rules of how to process them. So facility benefits. Multiple bastions can be built and maintained independently or collectively within a settlement as detailed in the settlement section below. So once you have a settlement, you can take bastion, you can accumulate infinite bastion points and start creating additional bastions in the form of like a pub, an inn, stables, a smithy. These can be standalone buildings that are themselves facilities. So it's not like if I owned my own blacksmith shop, my bastion would be the blacksmith shop as the core of it, like the smithy facility, maybe a workshop with it. But if I have a whole city, and the settlement allows me to have a number of standalone shops and stands in them. Like I can have a smithy that doesn't need to have its own bastion. It could just have a space in the city to perform the functions of a blacksmith shop. Here's the smithy right here. Actually, we'll get to you in a second, buddy. But you can treat the whole settlement as your bastions. You have virtually unlimited space to be able to build more and more facilities or duplicates of facilities. And as you continue to grow, you're going to attract more people to your settlement. It's going to grow in size and population as people want to get a piece of these bastion points to establish themselves. Like maybe they buy that smithy. Maybe originally it was ran by the Duke that was there because it was a small shop. But as the bastion continues, the settlement continues to expand as more people collect and the castle grows. Now you've got smithies showing up saying, "Hey, I want to work with you guys. I want to establish my own smithy here to help the horse guild or whatever that's going on. I can make horseshoes for them." They're like, "Great. That means we can keep our smithy focused on building weapons to protect the community." Do that. Now that smithy that moved in, he's like, "Hey, great. I've got a space here in the settlement that's under protection of the Duke that runs the whole settlement as this bastion. I have now carved out a space and I'm going to sacrifice one of my bastion points as taxes to give to the Duke." The Duke now has an extra bastion point for bringing that smithy into his settlement. And now if I accumulate taxes from enough different bastions or different establishments that are built inside my settlement, I can get this huge stack of bastion points that I can spend on various things. So like you can have this cascading effect where you can have a settlement with multiple bastions that are growing in size that can then themselves fund more bastions and franchise. That's called a franchise, which is discussed further down below. You see how that feedback loop works? So if a DM wants to establish something, you can just eyeball it. It's like, yeah, that feels like a second-rank bastion. And that immediately tells you how easy it is for you to get materials. What kind of stuff can the players find there if they want to buy stuff? Blah, 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 blah. It just sets up a language in the 5e game engine that will show you how to get through all that stuff. So another facility benefit is bastions attract creatures and NPCs to become residents of the settlement, as detailed in the settlement section below. This is talking about new smithies coming in, for instance, to service the growing horse industry. And then the order that you can give is you can issue the basic harvest order to acquire animal, mineral, and plant materials. So the settlement, like we were talking about horses, right? So this settlement can harvest animal materials from the horses that they're raising there. They can either sell them as beasts of burden, or the French swear by horse meat. If you have a lot of horses and that's the easiest thing you have to eat with, there's your protein supply. You know, you can make leather out of horses. It seems a little weird, but you can do the same with cows. You can just make leather with them. The hoofs, you can build material with the hooves. It's just animal material that this settlement produces. But it could also be like on a diamond mine. So if you're going to invest in order to harvest diamonds from the mine, that means that there's hirelings that are going to the mine and extracting minerals from that to then trade off for things that they need, which is a lifestyle check that the Bastion makes every turn. Or if you spend points to permanently lock in a level of lifestyle for the people that live there, that's a thing you can do. And it resolves the exact same way with the Bastion check. Very, very easy. So that's your settlement. We were talking about smithies a second ago, so here's a smithy. Let's keep pushing down the line. Settlements in play. Working on a smithy right now. Smithy prerequisite is first. Oh, we missed the prerequisite. Settlements can be as active as early as first level. It's like if you have a farm, you effectively have a first rank settlement that is a farm. and it becomes your bastion. It's where you live. It's where you sleep at night. It's where you fix your stuff. There you go. And a smithy, like a simple blacksmith making horseshoes, first rank. When issuing the harvest order to acquire mineral materials, you roll an additional bastion die. So the smithy is just naturally inclined to be working with different types of ingots. So when you make a check to harvest, like we were talking about in this facility, like maybe they had a diamond mine. Well, if you have a smithy established in the settlement, when the settlement issues the order to go collect diamonds, you're not going to just roll one bastion die. You're going to roll two of them, and you're going to keep the best result, helping make sure that you hit the DCs that you need to successfully harvest the material. Let's go grab the language that we need. You can issue the basic crafting order to create there you go. When you issue a basic empower order, you can. So this language is when you issue when you issue a basic craft order. By basic, it means that it follows the same rules as every other order that uses that same rule. It's basic because it's universal. So a basic when you issue a basic craft order to create non-magical items. Sorry, you can issue. This is what I was supposed to be doing. When you issue how'd that language go? When issuing a basic order. Thank you. When issuing a basic harvest order to acquire mineral materials, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So if you have a third rank smithy and only a second rank settlement, the settlement's going to be rolling a D6 when they issue the harvest order, but the smithy could add a D8. And so if the settlement is inside of a third rank bastion, the smithy can get to third rank. The settlement can't support a bastion of a higher rank than itself. So technically, for us to have a third rank smithy in this settlement, the settlement also has to be third rank to support this level of quality in a smithy. Otherwise, the smithy would only be operating as a second rank smithy, even though they invested enough to be third, which means in this settlement, until the settlement upgrades, this smithy is only capable of rolling a D6 as a bastion die. But I would roll two of them, and whatever result is better, I would add to the +2 from the harvest rank and D20, whatever that result is. And like a diamond mine or something probably has like a difficulty of like 20 or 25. Like adamantine, that would have like a DC 30 to extract. It's an impossibly tough metal, so it's almost impossible to extract it from the earth. So like that'd be a DC 30. But if you have a 5th rank settlement that's adept at harvesting materials, and you have a workshop and a smithy and an armory that are all adding additional D12 dice to your check, you'll eventually roll like 10, 11, or 12, and you'll probably be able to succeed because you get a +5 on your proficiency modifier because your bastion's rank, and the D20. At that point, if you're getting a 10 on your bastion die and a flat bonus, that's a 15. I only have to roll a 10 or better to get a 25, 15 to get a 30. You see how that works? Super easy. And that's the smithy. So it's super simple. You can issue a basic craft order to create non-magical items. See the list below. Empower, you can issue the empower order to create a magic item. Either armor, ring, rod, weapon, or wondrous items. Yeah, so that's what the smithy does. It's 3 things. Every facility can do 3 things, which makes it, and then you have either benefits, orders, or downtime activities. So let's look at unique orders. So let's just clean up the spy network. So you get 2 benefits and you can issue 1 order. So the benefits that you get from your spider network is when defending your bastion from attack, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. Barracks gives you an extra die, and spy network gives you an extra die when you're defending your bastion from siege or sabotage. When issuing an order to sabotage, there's two types of attacks: siege and sabotage. So if you issue if you issue an order to sabotage a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So a third rank bastion that's sieging a rival settlement. Third rank, it'd be D20 plus 3 plus D8 to damage the bastion points of the rival facility. And at third rank, it would be I'd deal D8 points of damage to the bastion, and then the bastion has to decide which facilities am I going to lose. Like if I only have 10 points and I've got 3 bastions that are third rank and 1 spare point for my lifestyle die roll every week, then if I take 8 points of bastion damage, I'm down to 1 point. I've lost 2 full facilities, and I've either ground down one of my facilities to only 1 rank, and I've got if I only have 9 points, it's going to be 2 facilities at third rank, 1 facility at second rank, and 1 point left over for lifestyle. So I could have all my facilities destroyed, and all I'm left with is me trying to basically at this point repair my place and maintain a lifestyle that doesn't become squalid. You've effectively flushed my entire bastion down the toilet. I need to get you off of me so that I can repair my bastions with my next turn to get this place up and running again, to restore my bastion points, to get my facilities back online. But if I'm constantly being sieged or sabotaged, I'm going to be depleted of bastion points, or even targeted specific facilities that are shut down. So I need to defend my bastion from attack, which is what the defense die rolls do. As long as you can roll higher than the enemy, you can eliminate them from dealing damage to you this turn. If you fail, you can spend bastion points to roll dice to reduce the amount of damage that they do based on the die rolls that you make compared to theirs. So even if you fail, you could potentially mitigate the damage, but that's going to cost you free bastion points that aren't invested into a facility already. It's effectively paying for security detail. If you have a bastion and a spy network built into your bastion, you have more natural defenses because you see them coming from the spy network, and you've got the manpower to be able to resist them through your bastions. And if you have a war room, that gives you another die, because now you can start coordinating the efforts between all of your hirelings and your characters that are defending the bastion from attack. That's kind of how that works. Sneak preview. When issuing an order to sabotage a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to blah blah blah. Unique orders. Research. You can issue the research order to this facility. You can issue a unique. You can issue a research order that's unique to this facility to gather information about the people, places, things, people and things. Okay, you can issue an order that's unique to this facility to gather information about the people, places, and things, local or abroad. To gather information about people, places, and things, local or abroad. Searching for sabotage or information about potential rival targets, or information about potential rivals targets as detailed in the issuing unique orders section below. This is a complicated one. You can find out about potential sabotage. You can find weaknesses in enemies' bastions, or you can just find out information about that castle over there, or that duke, or that magic, that staff of power the wizard uses. You can use your spy network to get answers like commune. You'll see it down below when we get to the orders, but basically the difficulty on 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, the higher you roll, the more questions you can ask the DM to provide you an answer. Yes, no, brief description. So you can get intel that way, and that's a game mechanic that already exists inside the game, the commune spell. And that's the spy network. So that's resolved. What rank is spy network? It's second rank. So prerequisite rank 2 Bastion. You can't have a spy network right away, but you could have a pub where you can gather information from just through rumors. But as your facilities evolve, you could turn that into an actual spy network of people that are actively gathering this information without being noticed. Stables are first rank. There we go. Let's see. 1, 2. I can hear myself a little bit in the background, but I think I'm okay with it. All right, so stables, prerequisite, rank 1 Bastion, facility benefits. When issuing the harvest order to acquire, when issuing a basic harvest order to acquire animal materials, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. It might be obvious that you would want to have your settlement and your stables be the same rank. You just might not have the points to be able to do it. You might value having a higher ranked settlement than spending the points someplace else. So your stable might be second rank while your settlement's third rank. So when you issue the harvest order, the Bastion will issue the order and deal and have a D8 added to the die roll, while the stables also contributes a D6, and whichever one rolls higher, the D6 or the D8, you keep that number. You actually see that a lot in the Essence 20 game system that is ran by Renegade Games that did G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Transformers, and Power Rangers. That's a very Essence or E20 sort of mechanic. But it already exists inside the DMG 2014. It's just Essence 20 just basically built a 5e game around the variant rule proficiency dice as opposed to proficiency bonuses. So much stuff you can do with variant rules in the 5e game engine. It is amazing. Check out the Spelljammer down below for other uses of Bastion dice, for like commanding siege crews and stuff like that to reload weapons during ship combat. It's a lot of fun. Facility benefits. So we got one facility benefit. Here's our first downtime activity we've been looking at. A character that spends a Bastion turn in this facility gains the benefit of the animal friendship spell with animals trained at this facility for a number of Bastion turns equal to the rank of this facility. So if I've got a third rank stable in my Bastion and I'm training CR up to 9, it takes a month. Let's say I train a Tyrannosaurus. I now have, if I spend my downtime a turn here for the next 3 turns, the next 3 weeks, any Tyrannosaurus that we've trained in our Bastion, I have animal friendship with it, which means it will not attack me unless I'm hostile to it first. That seems appropriate for an animal that you would train. As you can see here, we're only training beasts. Category 1 Krasis, a Scaver, a Pony, Mule, Riding Horse. That's first rank. It only takes a week to train them. Second rank facility can train an Elephant, a Warhorse, a Skyjack Rock from Ravnica, or a Brown or Night Scaver from the Spelljammer setting. We can train one of those in a week if we're second rank. Actually, I should need to change this to rank. A character, okay, and then trade. So you can issue the trade order to acquire and train animals as mounts. The type of creatures that can be acquired and trained is determined by the rank of this facility. That's old language, that number of points, by the rank of this facility. There you go. So third rank Bastion can have a third rank Stables, which would allow me to train Category 2 Krasis, Kindori, which we talked about, Tyrannosauruses. Fourth rank, DC up to 13, so it's 1, 5, 9, 13, and then 14 plus. Megapedes, Void Scavers, even a Rimmeraz you could eventually train. But again, we're talking about 13th level characters at this point. So that's not out of line. Like if you were using the Beast Heart rules from MCDM, it would be realistic that you could capture and train a Rimmeraz to become your animal companion. And the animal friendship spell would help keep it from losing control. Like maybe you'd have an advantage on your control checks of your mount if you're using the Beast Heart character class, right? You just automatically incorporate everything that's in that Beast Heart book into this Bastion facility because of how simple it is to operate the narrative behind how stables operate. Let's see. Yeah, and that's a trade order to acquire the animals and train them. So now that resolves the stables. So let's move on to the storehouse. We're down to what, 7? Yeah, this is coming along really nicely. Yeah, really good. We got like 45 minutes. I think we might actually finish this, which means when we come back tomorrow at lunch, we'll start working on orders, which I'm really excited about. So storehouse, what was it? Prerequisite first rank. That changed. A little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning. Facility benefits. When issuing a basic craft order to create non-magical items. When issuing a basic craft order to create non-magical items, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. When issuing a basic harvest order. To acquire any type of materials, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. Like, why would you not want to have a storehouse if you make stuff? Because you have to acquire materials to be able to make things. So, like, it really helps to have a storehouse. Orders, trade equals, you can issue a basic trade order, to have any type of materials, plans, or non-magical items delivered to your facility. So we were talking about you need plans for magic items or like siege weapons, ships, and structures. Any kind of non-magical item that you want to make, you can have, or instead of making, you can have delivered. That's right. Basic trade order to have any type of materials, plans, or non-magical items delivered. So yeah, materials to make things, non-magical items, and again, there's a price point set for each rank of storehouse that you have, and then we talked about plans, minerals, and then magic items, non-magical items. There you go. So that's the storehouse. It's super simple, but it's incredibly utility. Like, you have to invest Bastion points to get this, but when you do, you get to roll extra dice when you want to do stuff. So it's obviously in your favor to have a storehouse that has a bunch of materials in it and supplies that makes it easy for you to do what you want to do because you already have all the stuff that you need, right? The order makes sense. It just makes it easier for you to get stuff. You can issue a basic trade order to have any type of materials, plans, or that's like a catch-all. Like, give me anything sort of die roll. Like, I want any of these things, anything other than magical items, right? So any mundane gear or any means necessary to make magic items, you can acquire through your storehouse. But again, if you fail the die roll, it creates a complication. If you want to make a very rare magic item, you need very rare materials, and you need a very rare magical plan to be able to create that. And all of those things require a DC 25, a 25 to make the item. If something goes wrong, you check your table. Do you have the plans that you need to be able to make that magic item? No. That could be a cool quest to go on, or you could issue an order through your storehouse to farm out, seeking out a purchase of that plan. And all of this money and exchanging hands and commerce and economics gets resolved by your lifestyle die, which is a single ability check that determines the level, the quality of life in your facility. If you roll below poor as a wretched or squalid lifestyle, you're in the process of going bankrupt. it's kind of like you're constantly making death saving throws. Like every time you make a finance a bastion die to determine your lifestyle, you're making a death saving throw. If you roll 10 or better, you at least have a poor lifestyle. You're hanging on, but if you hit a DC 30, you have an aristocratic lifestyle and you're living high on the hog. If you roll less than a 10, it's a wretched life. It's a squalid lifestyle, and if you roll less than a 5, it is a wretched lifestyle. And depending on how poorly, if you're worse than poor, those are basically death saving throws that you're making. And if you fail 3 of them before you succeed another 3, you basically lose a number of bastion points to drop you down to the next. Like you lose a rank of your bastion. You have to get the points back. If you're already first rank and you go bankrupt, that bastion is destroyed and you have to create a new one. Kind of makes sense, right? Luckily, it's pretty easy for you to be able to survive, or you can invest points into bolstering your lifestyle to make sure that you don't fall below poor, but you have to eat up bastion points to do that. So instead of building out facilities to give you resources, you're now trying to guarantee that the bastion just sticks around. And if you're being sabotaged by a rival guild, the first thing they could attack is your lifestyle. Or they could attack a specific facility. Or they could attack your barracks to remove your troops. So now they can siege you and your barracks has been depleted. So now you aren't producing, now you don't have soldiers that are high quality because they all left because your barracks suck. Like this whole system just works very elegantly. It's a very simple system, but there's so much we can do with it. I am thankful and feel blessed that I'm the guy that gets to create this thing because it's super fucking cool. I would have loved to have seen Wizards of the Coast create this, but they didn't. So just like when they started publishing Ravnica, Strixhaven, Theros, it would have been awesome if they had developed a color mana system to complement the Magic the Gathering worlds, but they didn't. So that means I had to because no one else was doing it. So go check out the DMsGuild. It's there. So it's actually really good. And we're going to rebuild all of it for 2024 when we're done with the Eberron adventure and get this out of the way. Okay, so that's the storehouse. That's done. Now we're on to the teleportation circle. You get the teleportation circle spell at 9th level as a full caster. So it only makes sense that the teleportation circle facility is also 3rd rank, which is equivalent to a 9th level character. See how all of this stuff just makes sense? It all just folds together so eloquently. Okay, so that's the storehouse. That's done. Now we're on to the teleportation circle. You get the teleportation circle spell. Paste. Rank 3 Bastion. There. Basic facility benefits. When issuing the recruit order to acquire new allies, sidekicks, or specialists, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. Since you can't get it until 3rd rank, it could still be a 1st rank circle. You just couldn't get it until 3rd rank as a Bastion. But you only have to spend one. You can only spend 1 point per turn to build or install things. So the first turn that you're 3rd rank Bastion, you could have a teleportation circle installed, but it's only operating as a first. It's only operating as a 1st rank Bastion. So that means that you would roll an extra die, but that die is going to be a D4. Chances are the D8 that you're going to be rolling to recruit creatures automatically because you're 3rd rank Bastion, chances are you're going to be outpacing until the teleportation circle gets up to speed. It'll eventually roll a D8 as well, but you have to spend an order each turn commanding that you invest more Bastion points into advancing your teleportation circle, and it takes an additional point to advance the rank to level up your facilities. So you're at 3rd rank, each facility could tie up to 3 Bastion points. And at 3rd rank, you have at anywhere from 21 to 30 points before you become 4th rank. So you could have anywhere from 7 to 10 facilities capped at 3rd rank before you become 4th rank with 31 points. And you can see here, sure, having a whole bunch of different types of facilities that have different orders is good. But a lot of these facilities are allowing you to add additional die rolls, so it's more likely that you're to succeed at the tasks that you're issuing, the orders that you're issuing to your hirelings. 2 unique facility benefits. That's just a basic facility benefit. All facility, like any facility that has they all work the same way. It's just what does it affect? But a unique facility benefit, this facility can cast a teleportation spell once per day. That makes sense. Roll in addition because you have the teleportation circle. Roll an additional, and then the other benefit is roll an additional event each Bastion turn. So once we get into complications and Bastion turns, we'll be looking at events that happen each turn. And when you have an event happen you'll have an event every week or every Bastion turn. So if your team has any complications, like a facility got sabotaged, maybe your Bastion event this turn is a mysterious traveler arrives, and you can interact with them any way that you want. But if you also have a complication that leads to one of your facilities being sabotaged, so they can't carry out the order that you issued, that just naturally ties into the sabotage effort might have something to do with the mysterious traveler that arrived this week. You haven't determined what that traveler is doing. They're just a mysterious traveler. And looking at the complications that happen, that colors the theme of how all of your events are going to play out. Creating a narrative by randomly generating a narrative inside of your world for how your Bastion is operating on a weekly basis that frames how the complications inside of your Bastion evolve that create these new adventure nuggets. So that's the idea. And that's the teleportation circle. So that one's done. That was easy. Let's go on to the theater. Theater is a first rank facility, so prerequisite is rank 1 Bastion. And facility benefits when issuing a basic maintain order. Maintain order to determine the lifestyle of the Bastion. You can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So you have to maintain a lifestyle to keep the doors open. If you have a theater in your facilities, you're performing shows, it makes money as entertainment. So you're naturally able to roll 2 Bastion die and keep the best die result, add it to your D20 plus modifier. It's going to increase the likelihood that you're going to stay open because you're the center of entertainment that people want to go to and give you money because of the performances that you play in your Bastion, and that becomes another narrative point. Who is that mysterious traveler? Maybe they're a roaming artisan that's looking to join your Bastion as a theater troupe member, for instance. You have that flexibility to flavor things that way. When issuing an order to sabotage a rival Bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. This is the language here is what is it? Character sabotage. You are a character assassination. Thank you. You're damaging the reputation of the settlement or rival Bastion that you're targeting with your criticism, with your taunts. You're putting them down to an audience that thinks that you're funny, and now they're eroding the support that they have in the neighboring duchy. Maybe that's what your target of sabotage is. So you're using your theater on a character assassination sabotage mission to lower the community's view of how that duchy runs their how the Duke runs that duchy. So now they've taken damage in the form of Bastion points from your reputation assassination that they need to repair and potentially counter you, potentially like with a duel. Like, you've insulted my honor, you've damaged me 3 Bastion points. I am now going to what's the word? Challenge you to a duel, and that could become a match of Mage Tower or something if you want to use my Mage Tower rules. Yada yada yada. Like if you're using Strixhaven, right? Silver Quill could have a beef with Witherbloom right now by the way that they use black mana differently. So I'm like, Silver Quill issues a challenge, a match of Mage Tower against House Witherbloom. and whoever loses the match takes reputation damage, additional reputation damage, because a reputation is because Silverquill insulted Witherbloom, saying that they're no good at Mage Tower, and so they take on the task of challenging to a match. Your players play a match of Mage Tower with their characters against the NPC rival team, and if they win the match, they double down on the damage, and Witherbloom's reputation is damaged even more. And now Silverquill is developing a grudge, or rather Witherbloom is now developing a grudge against Silverquill in your campaign. So you can lean into that rivalry and start creating more and more conflicts between Witherbloom and Silverquill. Their black mana energy is neutralizing. It basically becomes a fight between green and white energy. From the Witherbloom's green-black versus Silverquill's white-black. They might actively be fighting each other, or trying to sabotage each other's parties, or screw up, or cause disadvantage on your exams at the end of the semester. Like they want to damage your ability to proceed and to gain college credits using the credit system that we developed. Like there's a lot of ways you can use this Bastion system to attack each other that don't do hit points of damage, but limit what you can do with your resources, which is a complete, like the geopolitical front that shuts your ability down to work in the world theater and forces you to grind things through as individual characters on individual missions without the support of your Bastion because it's being attacked. So the basic downtime activity, a character that spends a Bastion turn in this facility can participate. This should actually be a unique downtime activity. Unique downtime activity. A character that spends a Bastion turn in this facility can participate in a performance to gain inspiration for upcoming adventure. Each participant chooses a role. This is cliff noting off of the actual DMG rules, which is compose or write a performance, conduct or direct a performance, or perform in a performance. A character that spends a Bastion turn participating in the performance is inspired and gains a number of downtime dice to spend on your next adventure. And downtime dice are basically bardic inspiration dice, kind of like inspiration points, but they're bardic dice equal to the rank. A character can spend a Bastion turn, gain a number of downtime dice equal to the rank of this facility to spend on your next adventure. So like that becomes an opportunity for you to do your performance here. You are inspired. You now have a fistful of like extra D6s that whenever you do an ability check, attack, saving throw, you can expend one of your downtime dice to add like you would with Bardic Inspiration. And you gain that because you have to spend a Bastion turn here disengaging from adventure for a week to perform this task. And at the end of it, you are now equipped with a fistful, 1 to 5 downtime dice that you can use in your adventure. Or if you're crafting stuff, like I'm going to do the theater thing for a bit, pick up some dice. Now I'm going to do a crafting check in my Bastion to improve, to use my facilities to create this magic item, whatever, blah. And now I have my inspiration dice I can use on top of the Bastion die that I get to use for my hirelings helping me. So now I get an extra die that I get to stack on and use the best result. And yeah, that's the theater. So that was easy. Let's move on to the training area. How are we looking on time? Oh, it's 9:30. Okay, we've got 4 more facilities to go. It's 9:30. This is my deadline for the night. So I'm gonna have to cut the brakes here. I'm gonna be back tomorrow morning to do Eberron art for the book that we're publishing. But in the afternoon at 2:30 Pacific time, which is -8 UTC, 5 p.m. -8 UTC Pacific time in Seattle, I'll be on lunch. I'll come back in. We'll finish these last few facilities, and then we'll be getting into issuing orders. So if you think this stuff is cool, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notification. I will be live twice tomorrow, once in the morning to do artwork, And then again in the afternoon to work on more facilities and to start walking through the basic unique orders, the downtime activities, and the facility benefits that your Bastion gains from these facilities, to make sure that the language and the orders is jiving with how the facilities work, and that we clean up the language so it's more efficient. Well, hey, what's going on, Mind Hacks? Thanks for hanging out, my guy. I really appreciate you checking it out. Yeah, I'll see some of you guys in the morning, and hope to see some of you guys in the afternoon. I do this Monday and Thursday nights, Tuesday and Friday lunches each week doing game design. And then Monday through Friday in the morning, I do artwork for the books that I publish. All the books I have linked down below are chock full of artwork that I've produced specifically for those books. And you can read them, so check them out. That's it. I'm out of here. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.